Okay, so here is a quick run through of my workflow. If I'm echoing, I'm sorry. I tried to fix that and it didn't work. So we're gonna go to Bridge, and these are photos I shot of the fire department. I just threw them back on a memory card so that I could show this example. Basically, we go to capture from the card, and then I use a custom folder name, and it's always the date, which would be 050113, and then I use underscore, and then this would be Bloomington Fire Department, which would be BFD, and then underscore flipped car, but I already have that folder, so I'm just going to call it flipped. And then I do not rename files because when I'm out shooting and I write down names, I usually write a name down with a file number, so that way I can identify the people in the caption later. And then I want to open the file there, and then I want to delete the original files. I have my name there, my copyright there. You click Get Media. And this is going to be slow. Okay, all done. Delete the files. Okay. And now I have my photos in their folder here. Which that's wrong, just ignore that. And then I can click, let me go ahead and clear all these numbers so that I can show you the tagging process that I go through. Okay, so once I get a set of photos, I generally click on it and go to full screen so that I can see what I have completely. If you notice, this guy's foot's pointing the wrong way. I'm pretty sure it was open pretty bad. But I go through and I look at each photo. In this particular case, I'm looking for this guy, Great House, and there's one other. No, actually, Blackwell didn't show up for that one. So to see pictures that I like, I can press any number on the keypad. 1 through 5 gives it stars, as you see down here in the corner. But I don't like using stars particularly, so you just press 0 to get rid of the star. I usually use the labels, which you have 6, 7, 8, and 9. I usually only use 6 because there's either the best ones or there's not. So, and then I'm gonna, just continue to go through. And if I get to one where I don't know, I need to check my focus, you just click on it. It zooms to 100%. It takes it a second to load. But once it does, you get a better idea of the quality of what you have, which these are shot at a pretty high ISO. And if you want to check that stuff, you just hit the space bar to come back out. And you go look over here, you can see I shot at f3.5 at 1/50th of a second at ISO 3200. And then, you can go even further and look and see that it was shot, let's see, camera data. It was not on auto, it was on an aperture priority. It was shot at 43 millimeters, the camera, the lens, all the information that you need to have. And then you can go back up. These have already been, looks like I already applied a preset to them for camera raw, which brings up the contrast and all those things, so it gives you a better idea of what you have. So you go through, you pick the ones you like, the ones that you might like. You know, you press the 6 on them. That was the other guy, Tap. So you go through, you find the ones that you think are good. The ones that are crap, you don't worry about. I thought this was going to be a good shot with the car being flipped back over, but it didn't work out. The police lights down here are so far overexposed. So you go through until you get all the ones you think are finalists to make the first cut. You put your 6 on them. I suppose that could have been a good shot if it would have been one of the trainees. And there's Tap. There's one of my primary subjects. And you're back at the beginning. So, say you picked a handful of 6s, which this is just a quick example. So now you see over here with your labels, you can click on your labels, and now I only have the ones that I've marked red. So now I can go back through and say this is definitely a keeper. So I'll press the 7 on that one. This is a keeper, 7. And that's a keeper, 7. And I'm back to the beginning, so now bring up the 7s and select them all and double click, and that'll open them in Camera Raw. Like I said, these have already been edited. But so let's just say, for the sake of showing, I do sometimes use the lens profile corrections. It makes a difference. Not so much. This has already been cropped in pretty tight. I'll show you. That's the uncropped image. Same with this one. But the lens profile correction can really help if you're shooting really wide. And I do spend a lot of time playing with the HSL. So in this, you can go through and say you wanted your reds to be a little bit darker. You can just grab your reds and bring them down, and it'll bring the reds down. Or brighten them up, whatever you want to do. This can be a really helpful tool. Alright, so then my normal next step is, since I'm putting them on Facebook, is I select them all, open images. This will bring up Photoshop. Alright, so here we have Photoshop. And you can't see all my palettes because that's what I use my second screen for. It's over here. So you can see I have all my important stuff over here. I have quite a few actions set up. I need to set up more, honestly. But if I'm just running these for the sake of putting them on the internet, after, if I want to make a levels adjustment, if I see that I want to make a levels adjustment or something to that effect, I'll do that in here. But I have to run my logo is right here, but I have it as a shortcut key, so I can just press F4 my logo shows up. I can place it where I think it's most tasteful, and then drop the opacity to what works. And then to resize, I have that as a, where is it? Well, I have that as an action, it's F3. So F3, and then Control 0 always fills the screen. Always Control 0. And then if I need to, I'll do filter, sharpen, smart sharpen. And right there it's at 0.3 pixels at 95%, which is pretty good for this, resized image. Click OK, File, Save As, JPEG, and then ignore the fact that this says my Lightroom photos organized, because I did at one point try to use Lightroom. Finish edit, Bloomington Fire Department, and then I would save it here. And that's leaving out all the part of adding captions and metadata and all that stuff. So that would be, I would do that in Bridge as well, which would, I would just go to File Info, and I can add, my description, make sure its status is marked as copywritten. I usually put in the date, location, the person shown. I haven't done that here. But it's important, I think that it's important to make sure that copyrighted symbol is there. I don't know how much difference that makes, because you have unknown, public domain, or copyrighted, so make sure to click copyrighted. And yeah, that's it. I mean, another cool thing that I have used that I've gotten away from, but it could be useful, is the not slideshow, the review mode. And what that does is it sets up this little carousel, and as you go through, you can go through, and if you see the ones that you want to throw out, you press the down key and it throws it out, and you can kind of go through and narrow them down how you want to, like that one or that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that one. And so on and so forth until you have this collection. And what you do is then you just go over here and you click this, and it makes a new collection. And now you have a collection of just the photos from your first cut, and then you can go through and do it again for your second cut, and so on and so forth until you get to the final set. Another cool thing is you can sort these by just about anything. If you want to find all the landscapes, all the portraits, if you want to find the ISOs, and if you want to find the exposure times, the focal length, so there's, this really tells you just about everything that you need to know. And there are other workspaces. There's the film strip, which I'm not a huge fan of. It just kind of, I don't know, I just don't really like it. I guess it's kind of a better review mode than waiting for the full screen, but I'm always trying to see things at 100%. Metadata. Output keywords for your light table. I don't even think I've ever used a light table. And you can adjust the size of your thumbnails down here with this little slider in any of them. And folders. So, but I just use essentials, and if I feel like I need more room to look at the files bigger, I just slide that little thing over there and move the zoom slider here up. So yeah, that's what I do. I think that's all.